Hey guys, what's up? It's Discover Globe here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that hits close to home for many expat regrets. We're looking at 10 countries that, for some, turned out to be a nightmare rather than a dream. Now before we get started, it's important to remember everyone's experience is different. What one person loves about a place, another might absolutely hate. This isn't about bashing any specific country. It's about learning from the experiences of others who took a leap of faith and it just didn't work out the way they hoped. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button and let's explore these 10 countries that will make you think twice about packing your bags. Our first stop is Venezuela, a country with a heartbreaking story. Once upon a time, Venezuela was a South American success story. Oil wealth fueled a booming economy and people flocked from all over for a slice of the good life. But mismanagement, corruption and a reliance on a single industry led to an economic freefall that's been devastating for locals and expats alike. Imagine trying to build a life when the currency is about as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane. That's the reality in Venezuela. Hyperinflation has made basic necessities unbelievably expensive. Expats who once enjoyed a comfortable lifestyle found themselves struggling to afford even the simplest things. And the job market, forget about it. Unless you're fluent in the local slang and have connections that could rival a Hollywood agent, finding a decent job is like winning the lottery. Many expats found themselves stuck, unable to make a living and unable to afford to leave. Venezuela stands as a stark reminder that even paradise can turn into a struggle when the economy takes a nosedive. Next, we land in South Africa, a country bursting with natural beauty, diverse cultures, and unfortunately, a very high crime rate. Now, South Africa is a place of incredible contrasts. You've got stunning landscapes, vibrant cities, and a rich history. But alongside that beauty, there's a dark underbelly of crime that casts a shadow over the expat experience for many. We're not talking about just petty theft here. We're talking about carjackings, home invasions, and violent assaults being a terrifying reality for many. Imagine living in a constant state of vigilance, always looking over your shoulder and feeling like your safety is constantly under threat. That's the unfortunate reality for many expats living in certain parts of South Africa. The fear of crime spills over into every aspect of life, from the places you can go to the people you interact with. Many expats find themselves living in gated communities, limiting their exposure to the very culture and beauty that drew them to South Africa in the first place. It's a heartbreaking situation and a reminder that personal safety is paramount when considering a move abroad. Our third stop takes us to Iraq, a country ravaged by conflict and struggling with a healthcare system that's, to put it mildly, inadequate. Now, we all know healthcare is important. It's literally a matter of life and death. And in Iraq, the healthcare system is a far cry from what many expats are used to. Imagine having to think twice about going to the hospital because you're not sure if you'll get the treatment you need or if you can even afford it. That's the reality for many in Iraq. Years of conflict have taken a toll on the country's infrastructure, and the healthcare system is no exception. Hospitals are often overcrowded, understaffed, and lack basic supplies. For expats accustomed to a certain standard of medical care, this can be a terrifying reality check. It's a stark reminder that access to good healthcare is a privilege, not a right, and it's something that should be carefully considered before making a major move. Chapter 4, China, lost in translation and culture. Let's hop over to China, a country that's experienced an economic boom, but also presents a massive cultural hurdle for some expats. Now, China is a land of ancient traditions, a rapidly modernizing society, and a whole lot of people. It's also a place where cultural differences can be more challenging to navigate than a Beijing rush hour. We're not just talking about different food or customs here, although those can be quite different too. We're talking about deeply ingrained cultural norms and values that can be difficult for outsiders to understand, let alone adapt to. For example, the concept of face in Chinese culture is incredibly important, and even the slightest misstep can result in unintentionally offending someone. And good luck if you're not fluent in Mandarin or Cantonese, because language barriers can be a huge source of frustration and isolation. It's like trying to play a video game on expert mode when you've never even held a controller before. Chapter 5, Switzerland, where money doesn't buy happiness. Our next destination is Switzerland, a country known for its stunning scenery, delicious chocolate, and a cost of living that's higher than a Swiss Alp. Now, Switzerland is often portrayed as a utopia, clean, efficient, and safe. But all that perfection comes at a price, and that price is, well, pretty much everything. We're talking about rent that could make your bank account cry, groceries that cost more than a semester of college, and eating out. Forget about it, unless you've got a trust fund or a winning lottery ticket. Even basic necessities like transportation and healthcare can put a serious dent in your wallet. For expats coming from countries with a lower cost of living, the shock can be brutal. It's like living in a postcard. Picture perfect on the surface, but with a hefty price tag attached to every single thing. Chapter 6, Afghanistan, living on the edge of uncertainty. Our journey takes us to Afghanistan, a country grappling with political instability and ongoing conflict. Now it goes without saying that Afghanistan is a complex and challenging place to live, even for those born there. The political landscape is about as stable as a Jenga tower after a few too many drinks, and the threat of violence is a constant shadow. For expats, the risks are multiplied. Imagine living in a place where you're constantly on edge, never knowing what tomorrow might bring. The constant fear and uncertainty can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being, making it difficult to build a life, let alone thrive. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. You never know when it's all going to come crashing down. We arrive in Somalia, a country where access to quality education, especially for expat children, can feel like searching for a unicorn riding a camel. In other words, nearly impossible. Now, education is the foundation for a brighter future, right? Well, in Somalia, that foundation is unfortunately crumbling. Years of conflict and instability have left the education system in shambles. Schools are often overcrowded, under-resourced, and lacking basic supplies. For expat families, finding decent schools for their children can feel like an impossible task. Imagine having to choose between your child's education and your own career aspirations. It's a heartbreaking dilemma that many expat parents in Somalia face. Chapter 8, Bangladesh, a battle against pollution. Our next stop is Bangladesh, a country facing severe environmental challenges that can make life difficult for both locals and expats alike. Now, we all want to live in a clean and healthy environment, right? Well, in Bangladesh, that's easier said than done. We're talking about air pollution so thick you can practically taste it, water pollution that would make a sewage worker cringe. And let's not even get started on the garbage problem. For expats accustomed to a certain standard of environmental quality, the adjustment can be brutal. It's a reality for many in Bangladesh, and it can have a serious impact on your health and well-being. Chapter 9, North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom's social prison. Let's venture into North Korea, a country shrouded in secrecy and notorious for its isolation from the outside world. Now North Korea is like that one friend who never wants to leave their house, except on a much larger scale. The government exerts strict control over all aspects of life, and for expats, that can feel incredibly isolating. Imagine living in a place where you can't even have a casual conversation with a local without risking serious consequences. Making friends, building relationships, and experiencing the local culture is practically impossible. It's a level of isolation that can be incredibly challenging for even the most introverted among us. Chapter 10, Haiti, infrastructure from the Stone Age. Our final destination is Haiti, a country still recovering from devastating natural disasters and struggling with inadequate infrastructure. Now, we all take basic infrastructure for granted, right? Things like reliable electricity, clean water, and decent roads. But in Haiti, those things are often more of a luxury than a given. Imagine regular power outages that last for hours, if not days, or roads so riddled with potholes that it feels like you're driving on the surface of the moon. These challenges make even the simplest tasks a major headache. For expats accustomed to a certain level of convenience and reliability, Haiti can be a tough pill to swallow. It's a stark reminder that even in the 21st century, access to basic infrastructure is not a given, and it's something that should be carefully considered before packing your bags. Outro: pack your bags, but pack your brain first. So there you have it, 10 countries that for some turned out to be a case of buyer beware on the expat market. Remember, this isn't about discouraging anyone from pursuing their dreams of living abroad. It's about going in with your eyes wide open, doing your research, and understanding that the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the passport control. Make sure you've got a solid plan, a financial safety net, and a healthy dose of realism before you pack your bags. If you've got any expat stories, tips, or countries you think deserve a spot on this list, hit that comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching Discover Globe.